get the invitation though?
What's up?
Did you get the invitation
What invitation?
to the funeral for Hot Boys? They don't exist anymore.
I think that invitation was sent to me about 2 years ago, brother.
Oof, tough.
It's the boy, Bubba, let's coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba, let's. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me who's the.
Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to another edition of the Bubble Let Sports podcast. I can't even try anymore. It's week one, Kevin. It's week one, and I'm tired of it already. There's 15 more weeks of this.
Yeah.
This is the Cowboys and Rams review. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is going to be like last year, where I'm just going to rant. But now I have somebody else with me to rant as well. So now it's double the rants.
It is going to be double the rent, honestly.
And all I'm going to do is yell into this mic. Now you can see my face while I yell.
Yeah.
But guess what? Same shit, different year. Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I honestly don't even know where to begin with, like, what to even talk about this team from what we saw last night.
Oh, I can say a lot about this team right now. It's not good things.
I don't know where to start.
Can I first start off by saying that I hope the surgeries go well for Blake Jarwin and Lane Vander Esch.
100%.
Vander Esch cleanly broke his clavicle and his collarbone. He will be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
More than likely going to be 2 months or more.
Yeah, so he's on IR. Luckily, he'll probably be back by the middle part of the season, so it's not fully done with him. We'll get into more about him and his struggles with injuries and how that impacts the linebackers.
Yeah.
Blake Jarwin on such a freak accident, just a play that wasn't even like part of the problem in his injury. It was just he took a weird step and he put too much pressure on the knee and blew it out. So he has a torn ACL. We'll have surgery on that. He's on the IR. And I'm thinking probably going to be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's out for the season. For sure.
Yeah. So
just devastating. Absolutely devastating.
In his first start as the Cowboys tight end, gets a solid 20 snaps under his belt and tore his ACL. So now it was down to Dalton Schultz and Blake Bell. So that's really going to be an issue for the rest of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
And we were so high on Blake Jarwin before this game even
I think
was thought of.
was high on Blake Jarwin. They realized his potential, but unfortunate stuff, man. Unfortunate
he
stuff.
never got to show it off. I think he had one catch, and it was just your typical out route that we saw a lot of last year. He never got to really play with the middle part of the field, and really to the Cowboys' credit, they didn't use the middle of the field at all. But look, there's so many things to get into. Now, I just want to be clear on this. I did not try to be on Twitter at all during the game. I was already frustrated watching the first drive by the Rams and then the first Cowboys drive, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a rough night." And I had a really bad feeling before the game.
You did. You texted me. You texted me and told me that you weren't feeling it tonight. And, I wouldn't say I brushed it off, but I was kind of like, all right, man, don't worry. It's the first week. Everybody has that about their team. But, no, man, you were right.
I woke up with a terrible feeling about the game. And I was very excited to watch football. I mean, I was watching 4 games at once. And I just enjoyed every single second of it. And once we got closer and closer to the Sunday night game, I was like, just something about it doesn't feel right. I always get nervous for a Cowboys game, but it's different because I feel like something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something really bad. And I think once I saw Blake Jarwin go down, I was like, oh, this is my worst nightmare coming true as far as what's going to happen. But it was only after the game that I went on Twitter and I started to see all these reporters and analysts, all these critics for the Cowboys. Mind you, all of these same people were so optimistic, were so hyped about the Cowboys. And within 20 minutes of that game ending, I saw nothing but this offensive line is awful. This secondary is the worst in the NFL. They're calling up Earl Thomas right now. And I'm like, y'all really tricked us, huh?
Yeah.
Like, y'all really...
They really did.
You really tried to make it work and to get all this hype behind the Cowboys. And you're just like the rest of the fans. You're just like the rest of them where you're saying this is the year. This is where it all goes down. And just disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not even shocked, not surprised at all. I got deja vu from past 10 years.
Yeah.
And
really.
Here we are after week 1, and it feels like 2019 never ended.
No, not at all. I was telling a lot of my friends, that if you were to put like a 2019 game to last night's game,
Same
it's
exact thing.
almost identical. Mm-hmm. Literally identical down to every single quarter. Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into the first topic.
I need to breathe in because I know I'm about to yell so bad.
No.
Where do we even start? I mean, like, just right off the bat.
All right. So let's start off with the first quarter right away. First quarter of the game.
Well, okay. So first drive for the Rams. And it's everything that I said they needed to do for the Rams to win, which was establish the run, make Jared Goff feel comfortable, get the ball out quick, and fast tempo. Because the Cowboys struggled all of last year was with a fast tempo, no huddle offense. Guess what the Rams did?
Exactly that.
They ran the ball with Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers, and Darrell Henderson. All three of them, by the way, had amazing nights. Jared Goff felt comfortable because he got the ball out within 2 seconds of snapping it because he knew that the pressure was going to come and they were going to try to establish it very early. So they got the screens down. They got the quick passes, which the Cowboys are terrible at.
Yeah.
They took advantage of the weaknesses in the secondary by the screens. And the fast tempo, no huddle offense. Within 3 minutes, it's 7-0 Rams.
Yeah.
So how do the Cowboys bounce back? Well, they throw the ball a few times. Nothing really special. They run the same plays that we saw last year. Go to Amari Cooper for 5 yards. Run the ball with Zeke for 6-7 yards. And then after 1 or 2 first downs, you have to punt. You're forced out.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where I just said, oh, okay, this is where you get the rust off. But I'm not surprised at all by them doing this. This is all they did.
I think Sean McVay. I know we're already talking about the first quarter, but I'm gonna come out and say it, man. Sean McVay completely outcoached Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
100%. Sean McVay knew exactly what the Cowboys were gonna be this game. On our defensive side, they knew that we were gonna focus on just getting pressure with our playmakers, which is exactly what we were doing. If you noticed, every single play, DeMarcus, Everson, Tristan Hill, Alden Smith, at least one of them broke loose almost every single play. But because of the fact that, what did they do? Like you said, Jared Goff got rid of the ball in 2 seconds. It doesn't matter if they broke through the line. The ball was already gone. There was no play to be made behind the line of scrimmage. What happened after that play? Instant no huddle, going to the next play. Dude, I saw so many plays where the Cowboys defense was still calling signals, weren't even ready, weren't even lined up, and the Rams were already snapping the ball. It was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing to see. The fast pace completely destroyed the Cowboys right away in the first quarter. On the first drive, it was what was it? They ran like 6 plays in less than like a minute and a half or something like that.
Well, I think the whole total of that drive was like 7 plays, 75 yards, and 315, 320.
Something like that. Yeah, it was. Uh, it was something else. It was something else. They did exactly, basically everything the Cowboys had in their game plan defensively. The Rams were like, nope, sorry, we already knew, and they just 100% countered us, 100%.
Before the Cowboys defense could even blink, it could have easily been 10-0 within the end of the first quarter if it wasn't for the Rams missing a field goal from 29 yards out. He doinked
Which is
it.
very odd. He was very odd, yeah.
I mean, he's a rookie. I get it, but it's just unacceptable at that point. I don't even know if we should even go by quarters at this point because it was just more of the same and nothing really changed. There were small adjustments made.
Yeah.
And shocker, the Cowboys didn't make much adjustments in the second half.
Like always.
And yet they still were in the game, and that's my problem with this is that I won't discredit what the Rams did. Like the Rams, Jared Goff made tough throws, and it was impressive to watch. Of course, that offensive line is the main reason why they were so good and established the run is because their offensive line was back, was healthy from what they were last year, and they manhandled that defensive line. So they won the battle, and they held them. They opened up gaps. They opened up the little holes for Malcolm Brown, especially Malcolm Brown. Brown just had himself a night.
He really did.
Even Cam Akers showed up, and I don't think that in all forms, this Rams team is a good team, but when you compare it against some of the best in the NFC, they will not match up well. I really don't think this Rams team goes far. And I know it's a small sample size, and we can't judge it by week one. So all this criticism on the Cowboys, all this hype or criticism on the Rams is going to be kind of useless when we get down to like week 8, week 10, and further on. But I'm saying out of week 1, where we have the Ravens winning by 40, we have the Packers scoring over 40 points, we have the Seahawks putting up 38 against a much improved Atlanta Falcons team.
Russell Wilson going 31 for 35.
So efficient.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
And they stuck through the bad times in that game. They could have easily given up leads and let the Falcons have a chance, but they kept on coming. Even the Packers, like the Vikings started to come back a little bit toward the end, but they decided we'll just put up 2 more scores up on the board because we can.
Yeah.
Just because we have that ability. But when you look at the Rams, I'm saying this is a good football team, but the 49ers will get better. The Arizona Cardinals will give them trouble. So for me, it's like the Rams may not make it out of that division, yet for some reason, they are the much better team tonight. They are outmatching them, out-battling them in every aspect of the game. Jared Goff is making those tough throws. The running game looks super efficient for 3 guys put in the depth chart. The Aaron Donald just absolutely destroyed that offensive line.
He really did.
Whether it was one guy, whether it was 2 guys, he took out 3 at some point. And yet I'm hearing, oh, this team looks impressive for the Cowboys. Like this offensive line for what they're working with is impressive. I see Connor Williams on the ground. I see Terrence Steele giving up a lot of bad beats late in this game. How can you tell me they're impressive? We went from Super Bowl bound Cowboys to they're impressive for this quarter. For only giving up this amount of yards, for only getting 17 points on the board, they look impressive. They'll be fine. I'm saying this is 2019 all over again, where y'all are just being so optimistic and waiting for that moment for the Cowboys to show up. They're never going to show up.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse.
I think for me the main issue is that when you look at the game in total, the first quarter was it was rough right away. Then the second quarter came around and things started looking up. Our offense started playing better. We were kind of hitting some really good throws, a little bit down the field, not a lot, but still, they were like first down type throws. Zeke was carving up the defense. He had an amazing night. But and even to an extent, our defense was kind of stepping up a little bit. Like they were still getting down the field. The Rams were getting down the field, but when we needed to stop, they made it count. So our defense kind of stepped a little bit. But
I'll be honest, I disagree with everything you just said.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I'd say other than Zeke, there was nothing productive about either side of the ball. The defense could not get off the field. Do not tell me that on third downs, the Rams did not convert because the Cowboys either did not put in the right signal, were not set, or were just lazy with it.
No. I said once they get all the way down the field, they stopped it. What I said is that the Cowboys defense started making the stops when they were already able to get a field goal or something like that. That's what I said. I didn't say it was impressive. I just said that they stepped up enough to the point where at least they weren't giving up touchdowns every single drive. Does that make it any different? I mean, score-wise, yes. In reality, not really, because that means that they just kept driving and driving and driving. And I mean, you can't do that as a defense. You can't. Our offense, you have to admit, there were a couple drives where they looked okay. We were driving down the field. Even Dak implemented and Kellen Moore implemented a little bit of a hurry up offense, and it worked. It worked for a little bit. Zeke ended up capitalizing with the touchdown, and he got a second touchdown later in the quarter. I think the second quarter was the only somewhat good quarter the Cowboys had this game. Other than that, the second half was embarrassing. I guess that's the right word to use. The second half was so embarrassing. The defense was just bad, really bad. Besides Chidobe Awuzie getting that one interception, and we're going back to the offense didn't do anything. Chidobe got that interception at the 40-yard line, and they could not capitalize.
It shouldn't even have been an interception. It should have been negated because it was a hands to the face.
Yeah.
On Jared Goff.
Yeah. The third and fourth quarter were extremely, extremely rough to watch. The offense was just completely lackluster. And see, I was telling my boys last night that this is what the Cowboys always do. Like they always start off super slow, like they did last night. The defense starts off giving up a bunch of yards. They were driving down the field. I mean, it's how it is. And then there's always that one quarter. There's that one quarter where it seems like things started to click a little bit, just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. We got 2 touchdowns on the board before halftime. Things looked okay, but there's still a lot of adjustments needed to be made.
Yeah, there are some plays that we can actually talk about based on that. Because, yes, they did show glimpses of like, oh, this is what this offense should be. Yeah. And it's honestly, once we get into them, they're exactly the same game plan that was executed perfectly by the Rams. You look at the plays that worked for the Cowboys, it worked for the Rams. And yet, when you look at the totality of the game, like the Rams, that was their game plan. They were going to bait the pass rushers. They were going to bait everyone into the rush and into Jared Goff keeping the ball for a certain amount of time and getting a sack.
Yeah. And
just bait them to the point to where like, okay, then we can just run a screen and everyone will fall for it. So it's going to be up to Darian Thompson and Xavier Woods to really make the play. And they're not experienced enough to do so. So it's not going to be up to Aldon Smith to make that play, or DeMarcus Lawrence. They might get some plays on us. That we'll be okay with that. But once we bait them in, and it's up to those secondary guys that are way too small for our linemen, that are way too small, way too slow for our receivers, it's over. It is absolutely over. So let's look at this first play. Let me pull it up. All right. So as we were talking about, second quarter. This is very early on in that second quarter. As you see, this is pretty much what they ran all night. Was a shotgun formation with 3 wideouts, 1 tight end, and they're trying to give Dak as much time as possible by being in the shotgun because the rush is coming. They did a very good job all night of getting to Dak. And really, as we get more into just the overall performance and like individuals for the Cowboys, like it just felt like Dak held on to the ball way too long. He let stuff develop too much or just too long to the point to where it wasn't going to work. So this is one of the plays to where I felt like he did a good job of letting develop just enough, but not too long because he knew the rush was coming. So if we look at this, like, as we can see, motion by Amari Cooper, which, by the way, a fun stat for you, that really shows why the Cowboys are just so not like just so far beyond anybody else as far as like being ahead of the game or being ahead of like analytics. It's like in the average amount of snaps or plays offensively where the teams had a motion going by a wide receiver, by a running back, whatever the case may be, they had 14% of their plays be motion based, while the Cowboys last night only had 4%, and this is one of the 4%. So we see Amari Cooper in motion. We see, okay, some pretty good matchups, like one-on-one. So then you're going to obviously bait the run because they ran inside zone with Zeke about 40 fucking times the entire night. They ran the same exact play. If this is a running play, this is the same running play they ran all night. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. They have 4 guys lined up. They have like 6 or 7 in the box for the majority of the time. And it worked out in the favor of the Rams a lot. But this is one of the plays where they do the play action. And I want you to focus on Steele. Terrence Steele, who got the start literally an hour before the game.
Yeah.
Apparently there's this whole talk of like, oh, he won the job from the very beginning. We always had a special eye on him. And with Cameron Irving having an injury right before, actually during the game, but he was actually going to be the starter earlier in the week, and then Terrence Steele just gets the job an hour before. It was surprising, especially for a rookie, undrafted, and a lot of people didn't feel like his film from college was enough to get a starting job. Here he is against a really good defensive line, and I want you to focus on his ability on the right-hand side. He's going to be at the top of your screen, number 78. He's taking care of this man right here. So look at him. Look at his coverage. It's actually really good. Like, that was actually really impressive for an undrafted free agent rookie. He's doing enough, and I felt like, in general, Terrence Steele wasn't the anchor on this offensive line.
Yeah.
I felt Connor Williams was the same exact way. He showed improvement from last year before the injury and the years before that. But, of course, he has to go against Aaron Donald, and it just didn't look good on film. For Terrence Steele, you'll give him some sort of a break because we've been through Chaz Green, so anything couldn't have been that worse. Yeah. Like, Chaz Green is the bottom. Terrence Steele is good enough for me after this type of play to where he gave Dak just enough time on a play action. And then you get a little creative. You get CeeDee Lamb a little bit on the mid-range, like outside of the field. And guess what? It works out for you. So we look at it one more time. They're going to disguise a lot of things they do on defense, which it did all night, which the Cowboys should have done. But Dak staying composed, knowing that the rush is coming, and then finds a perfect throw to CeeDee Lamb for one of his biggest catches of the night. These are one of those plays to where they worked to the advantage of the Dallas Cowboys. It kept the defense on their feet because you didn't know where they were going to go with the motion from Amari Cooper, with Terrence Steele having a good block, and then it's just up to where Zeke is going to be, where they're going to give it to him. It's easier early on in the game to pull off that play because you didn't run it as often as you did later in the game. That was one of the first times they did a play action off that inside zone fake. But when you do it for the 10th or 15th time in the fourth quarter and you're down, I don't care who you are. It's like, just let Dak throw. Give him more time. He doesn't need to do a play action at that point. That extra second of time is going to be better. Now, before we go back, there's one more play that actually ended up in a Cowboys score that is the perfect example of how the Rams succeeded against the Cowboys defense, and the Cowboys just said, oh, we should try that, and guess what? It worked. Okay, so on this play, Bubba Bunch formation, by the way, always seems to work for the Dallas Cowboys, right? So we got I want to say this is the play right after Blake Jarwin went down.
Actually, I think this is the play.
No,
because he's still in there. Isn't that him?
No, that's I think that's Dalton Schultz.
Oh, okay,
yeah, because this is the touchdown score, very late in the quarter. This is probably the best drive for the Dallas Cowboys. It was the best drive for the Dallas Cowboys because they ran that 2-minute drill, and guess what? Yeah. Guess what they did on that, Kevin?
It worked.
It was fast tempo, no huddle. Oh, It worked for them, and guess where they are? In the red zone at the 12-yard line with a minute to go. Blake Jarwin went down right before this play, but they run the Bubba bunch. They send CD on motion to the right, and then it gives you the matchups that you want, so it spreads the field. So you have either side of the field right here on a cover 2, so you can take a chance, but there's going to be some options down low for the Cowboys. And guess what? They took that to their full advantage because guess what they did? They baited out this defensive line. They baited them out to the point to where, yeah, he went down here. So watch this entire front with a lot of guys coming. They're coming. So guess what? Bait them into that because you know Aaron Donald's coming. Connor takes a lot of heat on that. You set up the screen, and guess what? Ezekiel Elliott scores. The penalties on the defense, they get the score. It's literally deja vu from what the Rams were doing earlier in the game. And it worked for you multiple times in this half. You somehow went up at halftime. You were up by a point at halftime.
Yeah.
Thinking this is probably one of the worst quarters or one of the worst halves we've had in a very long time. And in the first game of the season, it can't get much worse. And yet, you take nothing from what you learned on this play or from this drive. Because Mike McCarthy said, I like the tempo that we set on offense. And it was because of this drive. Yet, we used nothing of that in the second half.
That's exactly what I was saying. The first half, our defense was very, very mediocre. It wasn't exactly, what we needed to see. But the offense stepped up. They stepped up in that second quarter, and that's when they got both touchdowns. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't understand what switches between the second quarter, halftime. Lutz, what do you do in halftime, Lutz? Tell me.
Adjust.
Adjust. Okay, so halftime, you go in for those 15, 20 minutes. The coaches should be talking to their team. Hey, this is what happened. This is what we need to do. This is what didn't happen. This is what we should be doing. I don't understand. Does something happen in that halftime where they're like, you know what? That last drive was really good. We don't want to give them another look at that. Right. What do you mean? Like, it always happens. Every single Cowboys game, it always happens. The third and fourth quarter, we go from plays like that, a fast tempo offense that worked, motion plays. We go to plays that are about a good 10, 15 yards down the field, like that play to CD. It worked. When did we have another play like that in the second half? Ever. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why when the pressure starts rising, when we go down, let's be real. We were down by 3 points. 3 points. If we were down by 14, 21, 28, okay, I get it. All right. That's a lot to build on. I understand. But we were down by 3 points. Come on. 3 points is the most manageable margin of defeat in the NFL. And for some whatever reason, Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, because they're both on this offense, they decide to start calling plays that, like you said, no motion, no more fast tempo. All they did was run the ball. Yeah, running the ball was working. Zeke had a great night. He was carving them up. But Zeke is not the only player that can get you big plays. You have 3 extremely talented wide receivers that could absolutely ball out for you. Amari Cooper didn't have an amazing night, but he had a decent night. And my man was on the injury list the whole entire week prior. Mind you, we also said that CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup were going to have a favorable matchup Because who was going to be at Amari the whole night? Jalen Ramsey. And we'll get into him later. Jesus Christ. But I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't understand why the switch flips after halftime and we revert back to the same old Cowboys offense of every single play is 5 to 10 yards. We're running the ball. The running the ball's working. Zeke is covering them up. So what is textbook football? When you establish a running game. What should you do after you establish a running game?
Set up the play action.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that, dude. I'm a Cowboys fan. Sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know, man. I didn't know. Look, man, I don't know. It's very aggravating to see that, with all these weapons that we have on our offense, with all the upgrades we added on our offense. Yes, I understand Lyle Collins is out. I know he's a big factor. But still, man, it just doesn't make sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't get why we go from having a good second quarter where it looks like our offense was doing good, and that's it. That's where it stayed. All those plays where it was like 10, 15 yards, that's where it stayed in the second quarter.
Their perception of how their offense was getting into a rhythm is very deceiving, and it just makes you think of how tunnel vision they think of their game plan. And it's the exact same thing we had with Jason Garrett. It's the same exact thing that we saw in week 1 with Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, is that in that 2-minute drill right before the end of the first half, it was Dak throwing the ball consistently. Go, 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 go. He's setting up the plays. He's making that decision on the go.
And it was working.
And it worked. Was working. You get the coin toss, you win the coin toss, and you have the ball to start off the second half. And you say, I like that tempo that we were setting. And immediately you go, run on first down, run on second down, pass to Amari. Run on first down, run on second down, pass to Gallup. Run on first down. It's the same pattern. But you're thinking that it works because of your offensive line setting the tone and winning the battles. None of those battles. None. And I'm telling you, you can go watch the film. I am just watching every single play, and I'm seeing Zeke give it his all. I'm seeing him get an extra 5 yards because he's battling for them. He's lighter on his feet. He's stronger without being as big as he was a few years ago. And I'm seeing the best possible version of Zeke since his rookie season because he's doing it all by himself. He'll get the initial hole, but that offensive line isn't getting him an extra 10, 15 yards. No. And they think it is. They think that's the offensive line making it possible. And guess what? When that run on first down, run on second down doesn't get you a 3rd and 1, it gets you a 3rd and 7, then they freak out. Then they think, wait, there's something glitching in the algorithm. Oh, but eventually it'll work. Eventually it'll come back together. When that's the perfect opportunity to be like, oh, we got a first down run with Zeke. We got 7 yards. All right, immediately go down and get into the line. And let's go with a screen pass to CeeDee Lamb. Boom, let's get it done. They're going to get caught off guard. Let's bait out Aaron Donald. Let's make them work for more. And don't get so much battles into Connor Williams. And let's do a screen pass. Let's set up 2 running back set with Pollard and Zeke, and let's run something a little different rather than just an out route or a curl route to Amari Cooper for 4 yards. That's ridiculous. That is the case with
or like you said earlier, running inside zone like 40 times in the second half. It was insane.
I don't care what it looks like. Your whole offseason was based on unpredictability and disguising a lot of things, motion plays. And this goes for both sides of the field. And we're going to get into why the defense had some success for like 2 plays. And those 2 plays are in one highlight because they actually disguised something. They actually didn't show what they were going to run from the very beginning. And on offense, if you're not running a motion play, it makes it so much easier for someone like Jalen Ramsey to just be like, this is what they're going to run. Just cover that up. Let's just make sure that the flats are taken care of. And this team is done for. Once they took care of the flats with Ezekiel Elliott, it was all over. They weren't getting more than 10 yards per play. They were getting 4. They were getting 5 at most. And a curl route to Amari Cooper is the best thing going for this offense. I am just thinking that there's a mask upon the Mike McCarthy face of Jason Garrett behind that. It's got to be there, right? Because this is just the same old offense. But you think it's different because now it's working. It's not working. It worked for a drive. Like, I don't understand how they think like this, where they think this is our game plan and we stick to it. If we don't stick to it, we're going to fail. That's only going to work if you're like the Rams, who have their offensive line healthy. They have their offensive line ready to go. Not a bunch of mix and matched offensive lines from an undrafted rookie to a guy that just came back from a torn ACL. And then see if the other guys can stay healthy. Your Travis Frederick's not there. So how can you think that you can run the same game plan rather than work on your strengths and say, let's get the ball out quick and let's make these corners work for it? The one play they went aggressive on was the fourth quarter play with Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on that, because I will disagree with you. Like, I don't care if it was pass interference or not. There's still 59 minutes of football to where they could have done better.
I know.
And
I
don't
agree.
allow the refs to do that. That timeout in the first quarter where it's like, oh, did Sean McVay get that off? Who cares? It's so early on in the game to where in the fourth quarter, it shouldn't be on your mind. It shouldn't be like, oh, imagine if they didn't score on that timeout.
The point is that it should have not come to that. There were so many opportunities in this game where the Cowboys could have done something. And like I was saying earlier, just a prime example, really quick before we show the next play. Look, that interception that should have been a non-interception. I agree with you. The refs blew it on that one. It was so obvious Jared Goff got hit in the face. But whatever, we're gonna go off of what we got. Chidobe intercepted that ball at the 40-yard line. The Rams' 40-yard line. You have 40 yards to go. Something so easy for this offense with the talent it has, and you only go 15 yards. I don't understand, dude. I don't get it. You look at the plays, you look at the you know what, man? I think you need to show the next play, cuz
we're going to show that play. Okay, so this is the play before the interception.
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about as far as me thinking this whole offseason, this multiple times by Jerry, by Mike McCarthy, by Mike Nolan, by this defense saying we're going to disguise more. We're going to be more unpredictable past Rod Marinelli. This is the play before the interception. And this is where you're going to focus on Joe Thomas. Lane Vander Esch is out at this point. Jalen Smith, who had a rough night, was
he really did.
Lost, slow, very Jalen Smith, or very unlike Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
But Joe Thomas is a good veteran. He knows what he's doing. He's been a great addition to this team. So you got four in the front who have been struggling to get to Jared Goff. But this is it. This is a typical formation that we've seen all night. It is just four up front, two linebackers, and then a bunch of corners because they're trying to keep up and they're trying to be fast. So as we see that, immediately you see a difference because you see Jalen jump off. Look at his, he's coming. And then Joe Thomas is coming as well. So this is unpredictable that they haven't seen all night for this Rams offensive line. And that's where, even before anything can develop, especially at the top, like Cooper Kupp is taken care of in the middle. These guys are taken care of. They're not going to get much unless it's a perfect throw. But it needs to be a perfect throw with less than a second before Joe Thomas gets to Jared Goff. And guess what? Darian Thompson doesn't have to take that responsibility of like, I got to get there in time. Otherwise, Higbee has an easy catch. But just because Jared Goff doesn't have that time, he can't make that easy throw. And guess what? It's an incompletion on a 2nd and 7. It's a huge stop by the Dallas Cowboys. So then we move on to the next play. And we're seeing some motion by this Rams offense. Nothing really different from what we've seen in the past in this game. But guess what? The Cowboys are bringing it. And what I mean by that is going to be Aldon Smith and Everson Griffin right here. Is with Andrew Whitworth, who has seen it all throughout the years. Aldon Smith, they love stunts. So they're going to bring that stunt get enough pressure to where Jared Goff is very uncomfortable, feels the pressure coming, and Chidobe Awuzie, who's not known for interceptions, and the secondary is not known for interceptions, they get it done on a big stop on third down in the third quarter, down 6. It could be a tide turner for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. But these are the types of plays where I was expecting. I'm trying to see more blitzes out of Mike Nolan. I'm expecting the heavy rush, and I get it. The Rams took care of that. But if you're bringing a linebacker, even that slight hesitation by Jared Goff in 2 consecutive plays, the only 2 real good plays that the defense made other than a third down stop late in the fourth by Tristan Hill and I want to say Trevon Diggs. These are the only 2 plays where I'm like, that was impressive to watch, and one led to an interception.
Yeah.
But guess what, Kevin?
What, man?
This is the type of play that shows you why this offense ain't it.
Oh my God, this is it.
So,
all right,
we pull up the cameras.
I'm actually very ready to analyze this play because last night I lost my mind.
3rd and 5, down 6 still, late in the third. 3rd and 5, mind you. Bubba bunch formation, so it's a good start. Got both sides. They're kind of spread out on that D line. They're in a shotgun, so guess what? Inside zone, maybe. They bring Zeke back into motion. And here's my problem with this, is that all night they tried to get Zeke on this wheel route. They tried to get him on this wheel route. It worked the first 2 or 3 times. Bring him back into motion. This linebacker is going to take care of him. He immediately knows he's going a wheel route. You know what makes this play work for me? Instead of having another running or another wide receiver or even a tight end, instead of having Dalton Schultz, who's not going to be a primary catch tight end, and he's not going to be a threat downfield, and you're sending CD on an out route for 4 yards, that's pointless. And you're going to have Amari Cooper here in the middle. We'll get to him. But you know what makes this play work for me? Because this defense has seen it all night. Instead of having a wide receiver, have Tony Pollard in the other side and make him run a wheel route too. Or give him that angle route. Go to the middle of the field because that's open. That's the whole point of this linebacker going with Zeke. If that's not open, that's a angle route for Tony Pollard, or you got to send Amari Cooper on a much higher route. But this is what you do. Dak kind of freaks out because he knows the rush is coming. He freaks out because this route is taken care of. So he sends it to Amari Cooper, and this is Coop. That's on Coop. Why is he not looking at the ball? You're in the middle of the field. You're there. Why aren't you looking at Dak? There's no more time to develop. Your guy's already there. So why are you taking your sweet-ass time to look? And I heard someone say, like, oh, well, Dak just got to position it better. I get that. It's at his leg.
It's a fair point.
But it doesn't matter when Amari Cooper's looking down the sideline. He's not looking at it at all. And by the way, it would have been taken care of anyways because they've seen that all night.
Yeah.
Guess what, Kevin? One last clip for you.
Oh, God. Here it is.
Because it's the exact same play.
Okay, so before this play starts, I want to make a point to this. This is the play, this is the drive that I was talking about where, we talked about it already, but this was the drive where Zeke was absolutely having his way with that defense. Some plays, the offensive line developed the run, and that was good. Other plays, like you said, Zeke was just sacrificing his body for every yard, okay? We'll make that clear. However, this is what I don't get about the Cowboys. Why in this scenario, it's 4th and 3 at the 11-yard line, okay? You are down by 3 points. You need this because all night you have just been mediocre. This is what I don't understand. You finally make the decision. You finally make that leap to be an aggressive win now team. Great. I loved this call. I thought this call was perfect in my opinion. It was the right call. It was the right call, but the wrong play. Why would you not give the ball to Zeke that has been carving up that Rams defense, like I said, this whole entire drive?
No,
8, 6 yards of play.
No.
Okay.
No.
No, hold on, dude. You cannot tell me no. The Rams defense was showing the Rams defense was showing plays like this almost every single play in this drive, and he was still making some happen. If you don't want to give it to Zeke, that's fine. Fair point. Roll the clip.
Here's my problem with that. There is 8 guys in this box right now.
There were 8 guys in the box not almost every single play, but a lot of other plays.
Well, yes, that's different when you're doing it on a 1st and 10, 2nd and 7. Because
there was some third down conversions in this drive.
But they're not running the exact same play as this. Because the play before this, they ran their inside zone. Because it was 3rd and 6, and they said, okay, we're probably in 4th down territory. We are in 4th down territory. So if we can make it more manageable with a 4th and 3, then we'll just give it to Zeke inside zone, so that way we can run something a little bit different next play. But they're expecting this. They're expecting the inside zone. And this is the same formation on every single play that we've shown. Shotgun, 3 wide receivers, a tight end. What's different? What is this? What's different about this? You're Kellen Moore and you're Mike McCarthy with the game on the line to change the momentum of the game. This is the same exact thing that they did in that game-ending drive. It's like they didn't show anything different until that 4th down play, and it just didn't work out in their favor. I can live with that. But this is a 4th down play to change the momentum of the game and could lead to a win because you're right there. A touchdown could mean a lot more than a field goal. And you're giving me 3 wide receivers in a shotgun formation with 8 in the box?
Okay, so then fine. Fair point. You do have a fair point. But, like I said, there were multiple plays in this drive. And you do have a point. It was 1st and 2nd down. I understand that. But there were still multiple plays on this drive where the Rams showed a box just like this, and Zeke still managed to get 7, 8 yards. But you do have a point. Now, roll the clip, and then I'll say my next point.
I'm just saying the Rams actually disguise stuff. So they might not be pressuring every single one of those guys.
You're right. They might not. That's a fair point.
But what I want is 5 wide, Pollard, Zeke, all these receivers. Something that they haven't seen at all tonight. And they got to think. Make them think. Because this, if you're not watching this, by the way, if you're just listening to this podcast, you're going to be very confused.
Yes.
Because we're just showing film. And this is why I want to do video. Because this is the exact reason why I show why the Cowboys might go 8-8 again this year. But here we are. Sends them to motion to the right.
Okay.
Linebackers are moving already. The exact same thing that I showed you in the previous clip. Look at Zeke. Runs the wheel route. This is already taken care of, though. They cover the flats. So, they're going to go to the middle of the field. Kevin, you could paste Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, or in this case, CeeDee Lamb. They are running the exact same play as they did in the previous clip.
Yeah, they are. It's literally the exact same play.
And you're putting the game on the line on Dalton Schultz to make that block.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who has not been with the first team a lot. This is a Blake Jarwin setup because he is bigger, he is stronger, and he knows how to run this play. 3 yards. 3 yards. He gets 3 yards down the field for that first down. But you don't need Dalton Schultz to get 3 yards down. You need him to go 4 or 5 because you need CeeDee to have enough room to get to that first down. Because if this guy right here that I'm circling is going to cover Zeke, that's where Dak's looking. His eyes tell everything. That's his first option because it worked in the first half, didn't work at all in the second half. So he's panicking. He's panicking a little bit. So then you have this Rams defender right here covering, I want to say, Michael Gallup. Yeah, that's Michael Gallup. So he'll go to the middle of the field on like a post route.
That's actually Jalen, I believe.
Is that Jalen? Yeah,
that's Jalen. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he goes here, but they have two guys defending CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
So Dalton is pretty much set up for failure here, and CeeDee already screwed up because he's a yard short.
Oh, thank you. Okay, keep
He's
going.
a yard short. So no matter what happens, because you didn't set this up right and Dalton didn't set it up right, this whole play was not executed at all. They wanted Zeke. That was their plan. It was to get Zeke, and if he's open, perfect. That's an easy touchdown that we've seen earlier in the game. Well, guess what? It doesn't work like that because they're going to notice that and adjust. Adjustment, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. But then you set up Dalton Schultz for failure here because he's not doing at all. He's not doing anything at this point. CeeDee is a yard short. It's a great play by a Rams defense that has been taking care of this offense all night, and it's a yard short. Rams get the ball. Momentum is still in their favor. You're down 3 still. And guess what? Vanilla offensive play, stale, the same old.
Same old.
And the same old result.
This is my problem with this play. Like I said earlier, if even you made a lot of good points on why my opinion about the run wouldn't have worked. And I agree with you. It probably wouldn't have worked. But like I said, Zeke was carving them up, whatever. Now moving on to my next point. This play, okay, you just broke down the play exactly how it should have been. This is what I don't get, though, and the Cowboys do it every single time. Why are you going to run a play where, like you said, Zeke was the main target? Okay, Zeke didn't go. So now the under route is going to be the next target because Dalton Schultz is supposed to, have done that chip by now, But why? Why? It's 4th and 3. Why do you run a play where the initial point of contact is going to be behind the line? Why? I don't get it. Every single time the Cowboys do that. And I don't understand. I don't get why. Look, if the play was designed for Dalton or whoever it was that was going to be the pick, but it was Dalton in that scenario. But it's with all these plays. Whoever is going to get the pick or whoever is going to make something happen to where they can get the under route open, why is it always less than what is needed? Why? I don't get it. It's 4th and 3. Have the under route 5 yards down the field, like you said. I don't know if it was an execution play. Maybe CeeDee was unaware of where the line was exactly. You never know. It's very easy for us to criticize when we're just out of the game and we're not the actual receivers itself. I understand that. It's a very valid point. But still, dude, it's 3 yards. Come on. That is such a joke.
Here's the reason why they ran it that way. They thought that Michael would take care of Jalen Ramsey on the top right. So he would get him to the middle of the field. They thought Dalton Schultz would take care of that chip and that block in the middle. So that way CeeDee has an opening to kind of curve his way up, go upfield, and then Zeke maybe would have had a defender by then, and then he would block him, and that's an easy touchdown. So they were going for the touchdown, essentially, on that play. But here's the problem, is that they adjusted that to where it's right behind the actual first down marker because they didn't think that Dak would have enough time to throw. And that's when you're playing a scared game. You're playing to the Rams' advantage. And that's exactly what was wrong from the very beginning, is that the Cowboys played the Rams game. Like, they never tried to set their tone with their own game. And when they did, it was, oh, well, we'll just have an offensive line and we'll just run the ball on every first down with Ezekiel Elliott. And it never worked last year. It only worked on very bad teams, and even then, Jets game, for example, it didn't work. Jesus. Yet you're still in a in a mindset to where no matter who we punch into that offensive line, we're gonna do it. We're just gonna rock with our game plan, even though it hasn't worked all night. And that defensive line has murdered you, especially with Aaron Donald. So they played a scared play there. And guess what? It was a simple mesh play. Like, there's nothing difficult about it when you're looking at a defense who has been there before. Brandon Staley did a phenomenal job recognizing that, but it's also not hard at all when you only have 5 plays to look at in the second half. So from the very beginning, their game plan was not going to work. And when you put a high critical situation like that with pressure, you can't rely on Dalton Schultz for everything. Put it on your guys. Like, I know that, and you're right. Like, Zeke was murdering that drive. Like, he was pushing the ball up the field every play. But think of it like basketball. Like, when you have a guy going off and he's on a heater, he's hitting every shot. Give him the ISO, spread the floor, and that opens up opportunities for everybody else. He's going to drive to the basket, and you're going to have that kick out. Same way here. It's good that Dak looked at Zeke first. But there should be some unique, some crazy stuff going on the other side of the field to where you're seeing CD on a screen pass. Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper are setting up for screens. They're setting up for blocks, and it's going to catch them off guard. And if that doesn't work, shit, man, I can live with that. I can live with a little variety here and there. And if it just doesn't work, then you didn't execute it. It's still your fault because you didn't execute it.
But at least it was something different, something that could have worked.
It's something different, and later on when you work on it again, it's going to work because you put it in a high critical situation where, shit, it didn't work there, but if we can do it in a first quarter next week, that's set up for a successful drive right there.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Here's the ultimate problem for the Cowboys. They are stuck on the flavor of the month. They are stuck on the flavor of the decade. It's vanilla. You don't go to Baskin Robbins. You don't go to Cold Stone for a vanilla ice cream. You're going there for birthday cake. You're going there for double chocolate chip. You're going there for the good stuff. The ingredients are there, Kevin. The ingredients are there for the best flavor of them all. Yet, I'll settle for vanilla. Because it'll be the best vanilla you'll ever have.
I always like to say personally that I'm a person that likes to avoid risk. I enjoy being risk aversion personally, and I could say that for a long time. I would always say that about the Cowboys is that they were always risk aversion. They always wanted the safe play, but the safe play has turned into the scared plays. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those plays. Like I said earlier, you're right. It should have worked. They should have been executed the way that, they practiced it. And I understand that. My main point in all this is just the Cowboys seem to just call plays that don't fit the scenario every single time. And I don't get it. I don't understand. Why are you going to be risk aversion when it's 4th and 3 and the game's on the line? If you want to be, I'm not saying send CD, send Michael on, like a little fade route to the end zone and have someone that I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you have to go for something extreme, but dude, come on, really? You're going to send CD on a 2-yard under route and just hoping that by the 3rd yard, Dalton has that chip?
But then also later in that game, send Michael Gallup on a go route with Jalen Ramsey and take the risk there?
Exactly. I was going to say that a little later down in my soliloquy, but yes.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I don't understand. I don't get why I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm running out of things to say because I'm getting so frustrated. It's the same thing every year. It goes from risk aversion to just playing scared. And instead of calling plays that are meaningful, that can actually get you a good chance to succeed, get a first down, get a touchdown, get a big play, curl route, wheel route, under route. What the hell, man?
nothing changes.
Nothing ever changes. And like you said, oh, when the game's on the line, when there's only one play left, that's it. That's the game. That's when you throw it long.
When you take the chance, and then you blame someone else for it not going right.
That is when you take
Michael Gallup did not have a pass interference. By the way, can't they challenge that?
No, the rule's off this year.
They only did it for a year?
Yeah, it was
because it was a tremendous success last year. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so then the first Sunday night game of the year is decided by a pass interference call, but you don't have the rule anymore. Got you. Anyways.
Last year was just a thing of like, oh, hey, sorry, Saints. Here's our apology. You can challenge.
Which still screwed them over at the end.
It did.
In some games. So, anyways, so it's not pass interference on Michael Gallup. It was a good acting play by Jalen Ramsey.
It was. He flopped.
A perfect throw by Dak Prescott. That will go basically unnoticed. Michael Gallup finally gets his opportunity to be physical against one of the best corners in the league, and he wins it, but it's too late to actually take advantage of that. And yet every Cowboys fan and every reporter, every analyst I'm seeing says, oh, well, the ref screwed us. Oh, the ref screwed up.
No.
There's two plays that you could have said that. Because there are plays and there are calls that the Rams did not get. Face mask, their hands to the face by Alden Smith on the interception. They didn't call it their way either. So that timeout in the first quarter and the pass interference in the fourth quarter, there is still 58 minutes in between those plays, between those critical moments in the game to where the Cowboys said, we can take advantage or we can control this game. But they decided to let it all up to other people, to the other game plans and to the other officials to decide the game for them, instead of taking that chance of throwing it to Michael Gallup on a go route in the first quarter. Set the tone early, go for it early, set the tone. No, you want to go on a fourth and whatever and say, let's just try it. Let's just go for it all. When you're being desperate at that point. And that's when you open up the playbook. Got you. Okay, that's when you open up the playbook.
On the literal last possible chance you have. Yes. The other 29 minutes. No. We can't. We gotta play safe. Can't risk anything. Oh, but the last 10 seconds.
But it's not just the calls, it's the injuries. I get it. Lane Vander Esch and Blake Jarman are huge losses. Sean Lee, Lyle Collins, these are big names that are getting hurt. I get that. And then you can also take into consideration, it's the first game of the season. They had no preseason. I'm telling you right now, I'll bring it up again. The Packers scored 40+. The Ravens scored 40+. The Seahawks won a really tough game against an improving Atlanta Falcons team that the Cowboys are playing next week.
The Las Vegas Raiders scored 34 points.
They stuck through it, even though the Panthers kept coming back.
If the Las Vegas Raiders were able to score 34 points, I mean, shit, the Washington football team scored 27.
I'm saying,
Oh, God.
Every team faces adversity. Every team dealt with injuries this week. Every team had
every
no preseason.
Team. Yeah.
Every team had an excuse if they did lose. Yet those good teams that are going to end up in the Super Bowl don't make that excuse. Think of the Chiefs last year. It could have been easly to where Patrick Mahomes dislocates that kneecap enough to where he's out for the rest of the season. Yeah. But they came in with Matt Moore, Chad Henne, whoever the Chief quarterback is.
Chase Daniel?
No, that's
it's the Bears, right?
I think it was Matt Moore.
Was it Matt Moore? You know what? I think it was Matt Moore. You're right. Yes, it was Matt Moore.
But it was tough games. It was really tough games on like back-to-back weeks to where you're like, they need to win that in order to get the first or second seed. And they don't make that excuse. They just say it's up to the other guys to step up. And when I'm seeing Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Dak Prescott not step up and say, we can't settle right now. Let's do something different. Let's just make a play happen rather than run a mesh with Kellen Moore.
Every single damn play.
Every single play. Don't fake a play action inside zone and throw it 4 yards down the field to Amari Cooper, and that's his route running ability. Take a chance, man. I'm telling you, I'm tired of vanilla. We're back to Jason Garrett. We're back to the same old. And I looked at this team watching them play. The Rams aren't going to be a Super Bowl contender, yet the Cowboys looked even more average. They looked 500. That's what they are. There's nothing about it. I don't care what people say. Oh, it's just 1 week. It's week 1. If they would have gone out there and hustled and tried something a little different, if I would have seen disguises on defense and they still got to work out the kinks, if they're trying new screens, if they're trying new plays on offense, and they do have the injuries on the offensive line, I get that. You lose to a competitive Rams team. You go into week 2 thinking, all right, let's just see where it goes from here. But when the entire offseason is, oh my God, this defensive line is going to be something. They're very confident in Xavier Woods and Darian Thompson. Oh, there's the unpredictability. There's the disguises and 1,000-yard receiving yards out of all these different receivers. And I'm getting a mesh play for 4 yards. Get out of here. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the excuses because this is what the Cowboys are. Until it is proven on the field day in and day out, not in training camp, not in the preseason, not of all a one drive out of 60 minutes. I'm saying 60 minutes for at least a month or 2 against solid competition. I'm saying this is what the Cowboys are going to be. No Super Bowl, not even a playoff. They are 8-8 right now. And maybe even worse, because I gave them the benefit of the doubt against some pretty good teams. And one of those teams was the Rams.
Yeah, we both did. Look, man, I'm just gonna to wrap this up, because we kind of finished showing the plays and all that. I guess closing thoughts about this game. I'm gonna say it again. Sean McVay completely outcoached Mike McCarthy, 100%. What blows my mind is Mike McCarthy comes in, and immediately you can tell he has an impact with the players, right away. You see it in the interviews, you see it in the videos, you see it in just the way the players have been acting this offseason. Okay, I love it. Great. What bothers me about all that is if you see that you have the players behind you, you already see the difference in the level of respect, the level of discipline, everything that goes with being a head coach. You have them already. That's it. Why do you make them go back and suffer with the same fate that Jason Garrett made them?
Yep.
What happened? In the span of 3-4 days, in the span of 1 quarter, you go back to the past decade? Where is this where is this level of football genius that Mike McCarthy has, where he had in Green Bay all these years before he retired, before he lost his job? We did not pay this man to be Jason Garrett again. We didn't. I think the thing that bothers me the most is, look, this is no disrespect to Sean McVay. We both love Sean McVay here. I mean, am I wrong?
Nope.
We think Sean McVay is an absolutely excellent head coach. He's a genius, my lord. However, how is it that a head coach that has, let's be realistic here, an absolute tier break, maybe even 2 tier breaks in talent on both sides of the ball, how did you get outcoached by that? How? The only excuse you have is if you were playing a man named Bill Belichick. Because Bill Belichick can be playing with 20 pickup guys in New England and still somehow win because he's amazing.
And but still look impressive doing it.
Yeah, but there's no excuse here.
No.
Like I said, this is not a knock against Sean McVay. But a man that has almost 2 to 3 tier breaks of player level and player skill. Amari Cooper, Robert Woods. Let's be real here.
Just the entire receiving core.
Cooper Kupp, Michael Gallup. Cooper Kupp's pretty damn good. I love Cooper Kupp. But Michael Gallup has emerged. CeeDee Lamb, Van Jefferson. Our offensive line. Our running back. Our defensive line. How? How did you lose when it's so obvious we have better?
I mean,
I don't get it. I don't get it. What was the purpose of bringing you on here if you're just going to be the same?
you're just gonna do the same.
It's frustrating, it's confusing. Look, at the end of the day, it is week 1. But week 1 has been going on for the past 10 years.
It's the flavor of the month.
Flavor
of the week.
I don't know. And not even to mention, little throwback. We both called that we were going to lose against the Falcons. And now it's looking pretty damn sure we're going to lose against these Falcons.
They match up worse with the Falcons than they do with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
The Falcons yesterday, yeah, they lost. What did they lose to by like 12, 13, somewhere on there? It was like 38-26 or something like that.
Yeah, I think they put in a late touchdown. Yeah, 38-26.
Yeah, 30-26. Okay. Okay, fine. If you want to say late touchdown, 38-19. Whatever, right? But even the Falcons still look better than us yesterday. I was watching the highlights of that game. They still look better than us.
Well, if you just think about it, I don't think the receivers for the Rams gave the Cowboys trouble.
No, not really. I mean, Robert Woods, besides like the first half.
Right.
But like the second half, he was almost non-existent.
It was the running backs with the offensive line, and you have Todd Gurley, who looked pretty damn good yesterday with the new Falcons. Matt Ryan can throw the hell out of that ball. He can make really good throws, and he's going to do it with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
Who?
Julio Jones.
Oh, you mean the absolute like elite tier wide receiver in the NFL? Yeah.
Who has completely destroyed this Cowboy secondary in the past. Think of Jeff Heath matchups. Dear God, that was terrible. So now you have Darian Thompson or Xavier Woods that have to do that. And I don't think they're ready for that. So they got to worry about Todd Gurley.
And if you don't have Julio, for some whatever reason, he probably will. And I'll stand corrected personally because I was proven wrong yesterday. You got Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley
popped off yesterday.
Is an amazing wide receiver that is just a great number 2 to Julio Jones and is perfect for that system. But you also look at that Falcons defense who had a lot of departures, who had a lot of injuries last year. And I get it. They gave up a lot of points. But watching that game, I was like, they made some stops. They made it when they needed to until the Seahawks were just too much to handle.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm taking the Falcons easily because what I saw out of the Cowboys, because I've seen some people on Twitter say, well, if they play like this, they'll be fine. I'm like, how will they be fine? This is not fine. No one hired Mike McCarthy, went wide receiver in the first draft pick, the first round of this year's draft. They didn't spend all this money on an entire new defensive line to be fine. We said Super Bowl. I said NFC Championship because on paper, all of these moves made sense. Dontari Poe and Everson Griffin, Tristan Hill being the starter, all of this was done to stop the run, to be a stuffer on the inside. A lot of those runs that were successful by the Rams last night were up the middle.
Yeah.
And they were easy. Easy.
It was looking too easy for them.
So I don't I don't know what else to really judge on. They can go out and get anybody they want right now, whether it's Earl Thomas, Clay Matthews has been discussed for a linebacker. I don't care. I don't care what you plug into this defense or to this offense. It does not matter. When you're running the same stale offense, when you're running the same predictable defense, when all of these discussions and all these conversations during the offseason were, oh, it's going to be different. Oh, it's changing now in Dallas. Week 1, if you would have shown me a glimpse of it, if you would have shown me, and I would have seen plays that say otherwise, and I'm like, okay, I need some time. We need to give it some time to really develop. It was week 1. Of course. Not everyone's going to be perfect week 1. You gave me nothing. You gave me nothing to look at film at and say, I need to look at that again because maybe there's some potential there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 2019 film, and I'm saying it's plug and play.
Yeah, it really is. It really
Randall
is.
Cobb is CeeDee Lamb this year because that's what that system is built to be on. You're not basing it off of what CeeDee can do because if you would have based it on what CeeDee does, it's screens, it's misdirection, it's a Deebo Samuel type of usage in an offense.
That's what he did in Oklahoma.
That's why you got him in the 17th pick. That's why you got him in the first round. Did you pass up on K'Lavon Chaisson for Randall Cobb to be replaced by CeeDee Lamb and to run the same exact plays? No. So why is that the case right now? Why is that happening?
Yeah.
Nothing is showing me different. And I'm terrified that Kellen Moore is still in a Jason Garrett mode to where he thinks this is going to work.
It looks like he is, man. It looks like he is, and that's the problem.
And if that's the case by week 6, I hope that he's out of Dallas. Because if this does not show any different by week 3, week 4 against the good talent and good teams in the NFL, against a Seahawks team that is borderline a playoff team, maybe can get to the divisional round, but is out by the NFC Championship because they are just not at that level compared to the Saints, compared to the Green Bay Packers. And if you do not look good against them and put up a fight, it is over. You are done for me.
Let's take a very quick look before we end this.
I don't want to. I really don't want to.
Oh man, I don't
care. I don't care who it is. You could tell me it's the Bucks. You can tell me it's the freaking CFL teams. You could tell me it was what, the Dallas Renegades in the XFL. That system and those plays do not work anymore. They didn't work. That's why they didn't work with Jason Garrett, and that's why he's in New York. Yet Mike McCarthy says it's good to go for Sundays.
It's not good, really.
This whole offseason he said, just run what we're running, and we'll make it work. It's different because I'm here now. It's different because Mike Nolan's running that defense now. I'm seeing the same old, and I'm sick and tired of it. So, yeah, I hope the Falcons blow them out because that's what it took for Jason Garrett to be out. It took him to be a disgraceful football team that looked embarrassing in Week 16 against the Eagles.
Ooh. Yeah,
it took 10 years of that accumulated with that Week 16 performance for Jason Garrett to finally leave. So tell me what has to happen in Week 2 against the Falcons for this offense, for this defense to say, oh, this system just doesn't work. Because I'm still seeing the same system. And that's it. That's just it. It's not the officiating. It's not the calls. It's not that there's no preseason. Everybody deals with it. No excuses. No excuses. I don't care if it's week 1. I don't care if it's week 10. No excuses. You have Pro Bowlers on every single part of that defensive front. And you looked embarrassing. You looked manhandled. I get it. It's Aaron Donald. But use that to your advantage. Bait them out. It happened. People, these teams that win against the Rams do that. They run their offense and they bait out this defensive line and they make it work with their talent. They aren't unbeatable. There are much harder teams to play than the Rams this year. And you're going to struggle. The Rams gave you opportunities. They gave you opportunities to stay in that football game. And you did not take advantage of it. That is on the Cowboys. That is on them. That is not on anyone else. So no excuses, and I'm tired of seeing these Twitter fucking people saying, oh, well, after week 3, we'll be fine. I don't care. You can get Aaron Donald on that defensive front. But if you don't disguise anything, your secondary screwed.
Yeah.
You're setting them up for failure. And after week 1, you're setting them up for failure. That's all I have to say.
I mean, that's all you can say. It's the same thing every year. So
same thing every year. And
we'll see week 2, man. We'll see week 2.
We'll be back on Friday to do a preview for that game, sadly. Because it's just going to be more of the same like this. And we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and I'm sick and tired of the Cowboys already in 2020. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this damn podcast. Episode whatever. Cowboys Rams review.
This is the version of an angry dad still telling you that he loves you and he appreciates you for sticking next to him.
I'm not even mad. No, I'm mad and disappointed.
But you're still appreciative of the viewers and you still love them.
I do. I thought you were going to say about the Cowboys. I would have been like, fuck that.
No.
But for the people that listen and watch this and actually are interested and entertained by my anger, thank you. Now that I think about that, I get happy again.
There you go. There he is.
Okay. I let it all out. This is like therapy. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it is. Little happy lots over there.
We're going to do some really nice episodes and good different videos for YouTube.
Yes.
We still got to do the rankings for the quarterbacks. So we'll do that soon. And tomorrow, winners and losers of the NFL are coming back.
Ooh. Yes, sir.
I can't wait, man, because I feel so happy, I'm
just going to say this. I already have my biggest loser of this week. 100%.
It can't be the Cowboys.
No, it's not. It's not. And it is. The Cowboys are something. But this team, oof. You deserve a special place in heaven for being a fan of this team because you have a lot of patience.
I will say that my biggest loser is not even a football team.
Oh.
Keep that in mind.
Oh my. Well, little preview to the next episode.
Little cliffhanger right there. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the Bubble Let Sports podcast. Make sure to click the link down below in the description for Irving's GoFundMe. They just did a fundraiser for him and his medical treatment. And I don't know how much of the goal he's at, but I know they're doing very well as far as getting the money together. I've just talked to him a couple days ago, and he's in great spirits, and I love him to death, and I hope he's doing really well. So go support him. Go donate any amount that you can. But that's what I'm going to use this platform for, is to make people's lives better, to make them feel better.
Yes, sir.
Because it makes me feel better. So we'll come back tomorrow, winners and losers of the NFL Week 1, rankings for the quarterbacks later on, and also the preview for the Falcons and Cowboys on Friday. God bless me for that one. And
it should be a good time.
Yeah,
stick around.
Sure.
Stick around.
But if you like these sort of things, leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the podcast, and we'll see you next time on the Bubble Let Sports podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team? Now would you lose if it been a better draft pick? And do you cuss when your team get their ass kicked?